Oh,
He's
he's deafened himself. Okay, cool. Well, let's to
probably
catch
trying
up.
to figure out
His exploding everything. Yep. Fair enough. When last we left off, you guys met the prince, which was interesting. We didn't have a Rem that's
Oh, yes.
the prince, yes. We didn't have Rem around for it, so there are a few conversations people wanted to have with Gideon, if they even remember them. And while the prince was making his introductions and giving out some overdue awards to those that deserved them, um, Lily was out guarding the gates to the underworld for the Loa, who was having a fucking delightful time getting drunk and banging traps.
as one is wont to do.
Sounds like Baron Gede was having a good time.
Indeed, he was having a great old fucking time. Yeah, excellent, we have a DCL now. All good.
I'm here.
Cool. Now let us see here. But yes, you met the prince, and there was some partying and some drinkering. It was a good fucking time. Of course, morning will eventually come to rising again. But if anyone would like to whoop back in time to ask a Gideon questions about stuff, then you're welcome to do so. I believe Timothy had something to ask. But in fact, wait, before that, of course, more importantly, fucking aspirations, baby. You'll have aspirations to live up to, I'm sure. Things to give a shit
Wait,
about.
we're actually doing that now?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're out of downtime. You are no longer on the railroad. The world is yours to make of it what you will. So, Lily, you have the two aspirations so far of get club off the ground and make big money. What would you like your third aspiration to be, or would you like to change either of those two?
Um, uh, those are long-term goals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, acquire a job.
Pardon, sorry?
Acquire a job.
Okay, sure.
Find myself something to steal. Someone that wants to.
Do some crimes. Yeah, no.
I do not advise that option.
Get a job. Why would you not advise that? That's a perfectly valid option.
You're a vampire. You're doing it all the time.
Yeah, what the fuck? Alright, and that is your third aspiration. DCL, you have completing a job without resorting to violence, and you also have in a violent confrontation, kick the most ass, you have an empty aspiration. What would you like?
I'm so tempted to put in join third in a job, or join Rose in a job, because I am not sure that my racial abilities allow me to resist thievery.
Save versus shoes?
That is racist.
It's.
No,
But also, never mind.
I mean, I figured that
Honestly-
someone's gonna come by and slap the black off of you one day for it.
honestly though, I'm pretty sure me and Rose, damn it, already talked about doing a job together, so that might be an aspiration.
Sure. Perform a job with Rose is
Is there
perfectly
a
fine.
space where I can write down my aspirations?
No, well, I mean, you can write them wherever the hell you want. I record them on my end, but there's nothing stopping you from doing the same.
I
I don't
use
think
a Google Doc.
I don't think I ever did aspirations. I don't know.
You haven't gotten it yet, no. You haven't had a chance to, because you've been in railroad mode and then you went around for a sesh.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It happens.
That section
You had to
was
get,
still railroad mode.
there was another one at some point before that as well.
You may be sorry, but you're not excused.
No, he was excused. He had someone playing around in his back meets. Perform a job alongside Rose. Sure. Alright.
Shall never be
Yep.
given.
Mers, you currently have researching the persistent shadows. It's got a tick in it, and learning the identity of Grim Knight. What would you like as your third aspiration?
Can I ask you to move on and give me a little more time to think?
Sure. Stray, you have learn more about the nature of a geist. You have two more
I have
choices.
none. No, I have none.
You remove that one?
Nature of the Ghost was only while what's her name was there.
She's still in the city.
Yeah, no, but I can't be asked. I've got other things to do.
Fair enough. Alright, aspirations then, please.
Upgrade the Argus Manor.
Yep.
Discover forgotten lore of the Bakra for Aurora.
Okay.
And obtain a ghoul.
Okay, excellent. And then we have Gideon. What are your aspirations? Or would you like me to explain the concept of aspirations and scoring experience with them to you first?
Yes, please.
Okay then. So aspirations are what earn you beats, and then at a number of beats you get an experience point. That's it in its most simple form. You get some beats at the end of each session you played in order to, you know, get experience no matter what. But you of course can get more by having aspirations, things you want your character to accomplish, be it in one session or be it in 10. Could be a long-range goal, could be a short-term one. Long-range goals, the more you make progress in them, the more they'll be worth when you eventually score them off. However, short-term goals, they could be quite quick and easy to knock out, because you might not always be efficient with progressing your long-term aspiration, all things considered.
I guess a couple goals that I could go for would be try to establish myself in the modern age, try to, I guess, re-earn either respect or position within the
Okay.
Invictus court of the modern age.
I will add that aspirations in themselves have to be quantifiable. The idea that it doesn't just have to be, in fact, in a lot of cases, it doesn't quite work to be like character resolution, but more objectives based, more literally. Like, if there are no roles involved, or there is no threat to you, or no physical challenge, or any of that kind of thing, then it doesn't really qualify for an aspiration. Like, get used to the modern world is really broad, and there is no testable feature to it. So, for instance, you can say get used to the modern world by, and then, like, you know, give this subtext something that you can roll on, like, impress a number of people, like, that would lead to you actually having to make an effort to do such a thing, if you know what I mean. Getting ingratiated to restore some status, that one's more reasonable. That's a testable thing. I can certainly put that as an aspiration for you.
Fitting in amongst the darn kids. Learning all the hip lingo.
Getting hooked on phonics.
Well, I guess one goal would be become re-ingratiated with the local Invictus, like you said, and another one would be get reacquainted with the modern age. Try to how do I want to word this? Get hip to the modern technologies in comparison to what I know.
Okay. So you're going to have to find a way to test yourself on this, though, so that I can...
They gave me a Kindle. I'm gonna stumble through this.
Alright. And a third aspiration.
I don't
know. You can go with something quite generic along the lines of resolving conflicts or assisting other players to do X. There are a bunch of rumours that exist in this setting right now, known as Alive or Unliving in the World. There is information that is gathered by the players or passed on to them by like other NPCs that generally tend to be leads into completing what is effectively quest or story in the world. Also, once I finish filling them all in, there is going to be some side jobs. Although those will be factiony, as in some will be jobs for humans, some will be jobs for vampires, some will be jobs for like specific people such as the Invictus, and then there could even be some for other supernaturals. I have one in there recorded as being a wolf job, which amuses me to say out loud.
Barry, put up a wolf job.
Exactly, wolf jobs.
What do you know what a wolf job looks like?
I do.
I can guess.
I guess help the children would be the third. I guess will be the third one for the if we're going really generic there.
Not too generic. Help them do what?
help the children in completing their side jobs, and hopefully by doing that, I'll begin to understand the modern world and hopefully a little bit of technology and sciences a bit more.
So to induce a little bit more brevity, it would be assist my coterie with a side job. Perfectly reasonable. Damn it, Lily. Fucking wolf job.
That is literally one of my least favorite images on the internet.
Look at this wolf job. Every time I do it makes me laugh.
I wish that was alcohol right there. It's gonna be a long fucking night. And so, with aspirations all done and cleared. Oh wait, no, yes, Maz, you had a third.
Yeah. Can I just put down like generically do stuff about the estate is not pleased, and then
Yeah.
like change that to more specific when you give me more information about the job.
Yeah, resolve side job, the estate is not pleased. Excellent. Indeed, while you guys, while Timothy asks Gideon questions, I'll begin filling in details on these side jobs for you. So to set the scene for you, Ram, not long after the, prince made his appearance, it became obvious to people that he's already been awake for like a couple of days at the very least, making the statement, well, obviously, I don't want to just be there stumbling and trying to pull my brain together on what should be a glorious day of awakening. So this is the official day, I just happened to get prepared in advance.
Then Gideon probably would have greeted, when he finally revealed himself, probably would have greeted him and tried to step inside if he would allow him.
You could certainly, although it might take some time, you have an entire night with which to try and engineer at least a moment with the prince, although it's quite difficult, so he doesn't have much time to spare. There is a lot of elders about, and some of them have been very much more active than you, that's for sure.
I see.
What is it that you want to cover with him? He'll look you up and down curiously.
Do you remember me?
Oh, well, I confess, not 100%. Although it's hard to forget your face.
Noted, I'm quite striking. Gideon de la Riviere. I've been a knight for quite some time.
Of course.
I'm of the Sir Martin bloodline.
He'll nod slowly. And welcome back to the land of the unliving.
It is a strange world that we come back to.
Yes, it was a challenging enough few days for me, and I've already been able to keep somewhat more abreast of the situation than yourself. Yes.
The world certainly has changed.
He will smirk. No, it hasn't. It's just a different skin on the same beast.
If you wish to look at it that way, yes. But with each new age,
Sure.
the skin changes, technologies change, and as the children have been teaching me, the music changes.
That it does. I'm slowly coming to terms with blues. It's not bad.
Apparently, Gregorian is no longer popular. It's this hip-hop now.
Yes, you are correct, so insofar as I've heard myself, it does not either hip or hop.
I've seen no hopping about it.
I've seen people hop. And he sips slowly from a glass of blood. Reminds Rem from the fourth wall to thank black people. Thank you for the hippin' and the hoppin' and the blues. Thank you, black people, for being cool. Gave us a lot of music.
There is. Yes. I suppose you are busy, sir. We will hopefully get reacquainted in time.
Of course. I understand that you have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes.
Ingratiate yourself with one of the active coteries. Do some work and spend some time.
As I've been doing, sir, the children have been teaching me.
Very well.
Think of the children.
And then he will give you a curt nod and return to entertaining his lessons. It is presumably at which point Timothy will find a chance to have a chat with you about some stuff.
Who's speaking to me?
Timothy Lee!
Oh dear.
Sir Gideon,
Yes.
might Darian and I have a few moments with you?
I see why you couldn't. What will be the topic?
Our young shepherd has the most keen eyes. And that tells me that of everyone, of all the knights and all the high lords and elders, were taken in by the prince's little jape. Except you seem a little unsurprised.
I suppose.
So you did expect something of that sort?
Expect something that could be. Yes. I'd expected it. Of some degree or another.
Some degree or another. So, you knew the prince in ages past?
What do you mean, how does anyone? DCO, you're just deaf as shit. DCO, you're just deaf as shit. Oh, okay, you guys are, half of you are deaf as shit.
All of you are deaf.
She is super quiet. I have to turn up my system volume to hear her.
I don't know, I have everyone here at like varying degrees of 10 to 30% and Mer's at 70. Still not even like maxed out, so.
You're all just used to Fen chat where everyone's literally screaming the entire time.
No.
No.
Get out of here.
Marcin,
Because
try to say something again. I'm trying to adjust my volume.
I typically have everyone to 200% because I like my system volume down.
How am I? Can you hear me? Is your volume good yet? Probably try turning everything up. Turn Discord up.
Turn it all
the
up.
speakers up. Just
Turn it up, yo.
I can hear you now with my volume pushed even further.
Yes, that works much better. Thank you.
Okay. And now I'll try speaking in the Timothy voice because that's probably actually slightly quieter. The whole
It is quieter.
slime
can
ball
hear you.
thing. It's
Got to be slimy, Timothy. Oh, Timothy!
Slimathy.
Slimothy.
Jimothy.
So, you knew of a prince in ages past?
Of him and others. Though, with the ages past, the faces and accomplishments of each become vague. But defining traits do tend to stand out.
I see.
Are you on your first awakening?
Yes.
One day you'll learn that the sleep of ages is a temperamental thing. Great memories.
Perhaps.
Memories that you thought were apparently so vivid become vague and ephemeral. I remember battlefields, I remember wounds, I remember some events, but the connecting points are gone, and some details are hazy yet like smoke. But I do distinctly remember one very clever prince.
Interesting. You say clever. Oh. I suppose tonight is as much clever as it is dramatic. He had us all, well, at his mercy to see how we behaved without him. At least for a few hours.
Can you fault someone for a small flair of dramatic?
I, not without rather a great deal of hypocrisy.
So was it just about the prince that you wished to know? Or would you like to try to plumb me for more information?
There is much I would like to ask you of men and ages past. What little you can recall is... It will still undoubtedly be more than any kind philosopher or historian might. But we may leave that for another time. Let's enjoy ourselves, Zagidian.
This is a moment to be enjoyed, and hopefully something to be educational for the children.
Yeah, excellent. I'd say if I got 2 side jobs in, to start at least. Alright, don't all talk at once though, that's cool.
What?
I had finished up what questions I had. So
Okay, sure.
And I'm already gone.
Yep. Righty then. Eventually your nights will come to a close, and January the 1st comes up.
sure. First,
Look, I've been doing it the entire time, it's not going to stop now. So, how does everyone's morning begin, I suppose, most importantly? You'll need to do things like feed yourselves and, I don't know, get work, talk to people, do things.
Oh yeah.
I'm already well fed, but I'd like to do something.
Sure. How does your morning begin
I
then?
would like to. Now it costs experience to make the perilous more perilous
Yeah.
because I have to go there and do magic rituals, but it doesn't require that for me to pour in money to make the chapter housey. So I would like to pour 2 dots of my resources for the next, I'd say, couple months, like I did with what's her name,
Sure.
to get another dot of chapter house.
Okay. Yeah.
So two for one sound fair?
Yes, 2 for 1 is fine. You'll have to bear that you've basically just pushed this money over. It's gonna take time for the chapter house to get chapter housery. People have to do the work and etc. And especially since you're doing this on waking up.
Yeah, there's construction, stuff like that, but I'm going to be pouring my own resources into building the Argus Manor up, so I'm going to put 1 dot of resources minus 2 for chapter house, and then okay.
Okie doke. Yeah, that seems fine. You will gradually be able to see improvements happen to the chapter house. Thankfully, a lot of that work can be done in the day for people to enjoy in the night, so it doesn't make the chapter house quote-unquote unusable while there are works being done in it, like most people who would be living in a home. You just fucking turn up at night and ignore it all. But there are still logistical pains in the arse to be seen to.
Okay. So I have resources minus 2 at the moment and 2 dots of chapter house.
Correct.
Cool.
Awesome.
So that's going to be my, I guess, evening.
Sure. Like, what kind of workers do you go for then? Do you borrow from the normal force, or do you try and go through, like, contractors the Elysium might have?
I go through contractors that the Order Dracul uses, or at least has contacts with.
It's a pretty trivial test for you, but would you like to throw some skills into this, see if you can find particularly good workers?
Okay.
Because there's still a little bit of social engineering involved to, get good work.
So by social engineering, you mean I need to use a social skill?
I mean, you don't have to use a social skill. It depends how you resolve the problem, but that is the general expectation. If you can think of some other way, then you can absolutely fucking surprise me. Go for it.
So, int persuasion or int socialize?
Whichever one you like.
They're literally the same amount of dots. So
sure. And let's see here. You've got 3 in status or Dodracool, yes?
yeah.
So you can make that a mod of 3 because you're going through auto peoples. Let's think. Yeah, that seems fine. Currently, auto's doing well with Invictus. All right, 2 successes. I was expecting somewhere around there. If you got something exceptional, then it would be done in a quicker time than expected. You didn't get some kind of dramatic failure, so nothing's going to go wrong for you. But yeah, you
Can
get
you
a
spend
casting.
a willpower on this?
You can spend a willpower and try for 5, sure.
I mean, it's not gonna happen, but isn't that 3d10?
Yep. It is feasible.
Nope, only 1.
Okay, so yes, it's going to be done in a reasonable amount of time. There is no evidence that there'll be any problem with it happening, but logistically speaking, they can't make the clock go forward, such as it were.
Alright, cool.
Excellent. Alright then. Rose, how does your morning begin? Awesome. Good talk.
Sorry, who did you say?
Rose, how does your morning begin?
Oh, okay. So, there's dogs started barking at the same time. So I
Ah.
didn't really hear.
Oh, so you thought I said ruse, obviously.
No, I didn't hear, so I was just waiting for whoever you talk to like chime in.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, it's chiming in. Fuck, it's
And like,
me!
oh shit, no one's talking. It must have been me.
Oops.
I want to see how Emma would do to honeypotting somebody. To getting some food for me, you know.
Uh, playing snack collector.
Yeah. Etienne is probably down at this point, considering she's a ghoul and
Yeah, I mean, she directly
Uh,
has her needs from your blood,
right.
which you need from
And
others.
Emma is okay with being fed upon.
Correct.
So I would like to do a little trial run
Okay.
where the three of us go out and try and bring somebody back.
Let's see here. You want to throw some kind of social test? We'll see how amenable Emma is. I will make sure I'll take away any negative modifiers that might have been imposed by her humanity, just for the sake of having been ingratiated with both yourself and your ghoul for a long period of time.
Sure. I'm not trying to manipulate her into it. It's more like a presence thing, I would say.
You want to just try and
Like,
play it off on pure charisma?
Yeah, like yeah.
DCL, your mic? Picking up TV or whatever it is you're watching.
Sorry.
I haven't fed her more blood, explicitly yet. She doesn't spend it on anything. I don't know if they have to spend blood over time. I don't remember that. But
You have to give a ghoul new blood every single month, or they stop being a ghoul.
yeah, I mean then I'll do that.
You've
but
had to do so then twice? Wait, no. 1, 2, 3, 4 times.
And doesn't Vinculum
4
go
months
over the course of
sometime?
a year?
No.
I don't know how
I'm
Vinculum
getting
progresses.
First edition. I'm having first edition gets stuck in my head again. God damn it.
By the Requiem. Vinculum.
That's not as high priority anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get her.
Not trying to get her his
Yeah, it's just there's a fair chance it will have happened by itself.
Yes, those kindred who consume the blood of a single vampire 3 times are subjected to a state of emotional control. Let's see here. That's the thrall thing, but it doesn't mention ghouls.
It does it to everyone.
True, it would be nice if it made it a bit more explicit, I suppose.
But part of vampire blood is its powerful addictive nature. If
Yeah.
you take it 3 times, then you're pretty much obsessed with the person.
Anytime a character, it doesn't specify vampire or ghoul character, imbibes a point or more of vitae, it creates or reinforces a blood bond. Kindred can attempt to resist, and the fact that it then specifies kindred characters makes me think kind cannot.
Yep. Let's see here. Game retain as long as they're given vitae and willpower spend like the first time.
And yeah, straight, the year thing you were thinking of, that's how long it lasts. Like, 1 year from the most recent drink.
Gideon de la Riviere sits trying to write an intelligible thesis and reasoning behind some of the songs, namely, what is the what in the song turned down for what? Delightful.
Nobody show him the music video. It's just gonna
Break his brain.
why
Don't show him the
is her
music
why
video
are
for-
her boobs moving on their own?
Don't
Are they
show him the music
possessed?
video for Black Hole Sun.
Oh god.
Won't you come?
Oh, now I'm sad.
Uh,
Singer.
yeah. I mean, she is like Etienne doesn't require Tess to get her to do stuff. She is indeed thralled.
No, this isn't Etienne. This is Emma.
This is Emma in her case. She hasn't been fed any blood. No.
Which is why I was saying like the vinculum thing is not.
Oh,
Really...
right. No, that's look. You can see Etienne is at the very least the first stage of
Yeah, I was
vinculum.
talking about Etienne, not.
Yeah, that's where the confusion came from, I suppose. But
I wasn't concerned with
yeah, no.
convincing Etienne. She's already Gould.
She's cool. She's cozy.
Pretty clear. Clearly,
She's not quite as tightly bound down, I suppose, but that's because she was already supernatural, quote unquote, before you knew her.
I will presence persuasion Emma
Okay.
to be like, hey, you should help me get a little
grub.
bite to eat. No worries. Not gonna kill them. Just gonna,
All right, give it a go.
do the same thing I do to you guys, girls. You said I got a bonus?
The bonus is that there are no negatives based on her humanity.
Okay.
because she's accustomed to you, the state of her humanity does not interfere with her reasoning.
She's down.
Wow, fucking yeah, until she's D in the G. Yeah, no, it looks like Emma probably even gets a kick out of being your honey trap.
Excellent. Maybe she could be on her way to Gouldom eventually. If that was something she would look forward to.
Yeah, what's the 9A there, sorry?
That is 9 again.
No, as in what's giving you that one again?
That is my professional training.
Ah, right, yes.
I am a fucking thief. My asset skills are larceny, streetwise, and persuasion. I can talk my way out of anything.
Sweet.
Yep.
Professional training, man. If you are like any kind of specific profession, like that's a great fucking merit.
It is excellent.
I'm not really big on the whole, mystical vampire stuff, but just being a mundane person.
Yeah, you were a talented mundane. Now here's the question. Did Rose ever take to the life of crime prior to Vampy Town then?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like she was a what's it? A burglar
Cat
before
burglar.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a locksmith for a while. That's still mostly what she does is like mechanic job.
Yeah.
She gets called in to help
people get the fuck back into their own car.
Houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds fair.
But no, she used that before.
Fair enough.
That might be why she doesn't have custody of her kid, or might be why...
For some terrible reason, I thought you were going to say that might be why she had a Hispanic partner. I was like, oh, that's entirely my brain. I was like, wow. Fuck.
You mean a black partner, but yeah.
Was it? Oh, right, yeah.
She is half Hispanic herself.
Yes, that was it, sorry.
Because she's based on gender bent Reaper, so. Anyway.
Yeah. But yes, it would seem Emma is absolutely down to help you score Grub. And Rem, so you're asking, I have to ask by whisper, but yes, you wanted to know more about how the side jobs work?
Yes.
Yeah, generally expected. The Coterie is the group of El Vampiro, and all of you have access to this kind of work, assuming you know who to go to and who to contact. Some of them are ones you'll have to look for if you don't have access to them. I was actually going to say, at some point along the day, Rose gets a message, effectively along the lines of, hey, there is someone who's looking for some work. It sounds like it's in your wheelhouse, and then you are given the details to side job 1, doing crimes. Likewise, ones with Invictus on it, I haven't finished writing them all in. Well, Invictus or Elysium. They are ones you get from being at the Elysium or having Invictus contacts. So those will be, information acquirable to everyone. I've got little brackets on them, but I haven't finished filling all of those out. So in the case of shaking a few trees, like, it's something a person could handle solo, sure, but as in all cases, having company or assistance is always good. It certainly does a lot of things for, like, keeping situations from getting ugly, should that be the case. But at the same time, this game is pretty freeform about whether you go in a crew, coterie, or if you handle jobs solo and try and get more done overall. Yeah, spending any time at the Elysium will introduce you to... it might be the bartender even who brings this up, with likely Timothy. In the morning. So I guess we will jump along to him. How does your morning begin, Monsieur Lee?
Wake up, choose a good suit.
Oh please, they're all good suits.
Yes.
Exactly
but,
his problem.
How do I choose?
This is why Timothy is never ready in the morning.
Let's be honest here, he probably just picked it out yesterday. But, grab suit, grab badges of rank and office, go and socialize in the Elysium for a couple of hours.
Sure thing then. It is indeed then to you that the bartender will bring up that there are a number of people who didn't actually come to last night's party. As you can imagine, quite the insult. They don't know why, however. No one's gone out to, quote-unquote, shake these trees to see what falls out yet. Something could be dangerous, it could be simple, could be someone who needs education, or it could be someone who left town without, leaving notice.
Just young and stupid neonates, or anyone of rank?
Although no one of elderhood was foolish enough to decline such an invitation without proper reasoning, of which there are a couple. Whether their reasoning is entirely true is not the point. At least they made their contact. They said something. These are people who have, for better or worse, fallen off the grid. Or at the very least, have fallen away from the Elysium, or fallen away from the Invictus. That won't do. One of our assistants has a number of addresses and details. I'm sure you can flag down one of them.
Indeed, mistress.
Likewise, as you are travelling around with that information, it's possible entirely that you just overhear the very, very brief details to side job 3, and notice that the prince has a detractor. It is entirely possible it was someone who was even there at the party that night, but a bunch of rather unpleasant, maybe judgmental, accusatory pieces of documentation were found essentially slipped underneath an office door, one of the Elysium's office doors. No one saw who did it. If it proves to be a repeat issue, then it will need to be tended to. Because, can't go dealing with just people talking shit, essentially talking smack on the prince and just expecting to get away with it. That doesn't fly. As for who did it, that could be fucking anyone. They don't know yet. But is a duty that needs seen to, whether by you or by someone else you, engineer to getting to do the job for you. It still counts as you completing it, because that's how hierarchy works. And then there are a few more. I haven't written those in yet.
Alright then.
Where's the side job just a prank bro at?
Just a prank, bro? Oh, you mean the people get...
That's the 94s.
That's the 94s. It's not officially a job or a request that has been made of any of you. It's just information that exists that you could see to. Let's see here. Is there anything in Alive or on Living that is actually technically a mission? I suppose Not the Hero We Deserve has technically become a side job, I suppose, since it was brought directly to Timothy's attention as something to handle, but